What is up, guys? Welcome to another RGBTV review. I'm Jonathan, here with Andy, and today we're reviewing Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Jonathan, we both had the pleasure, or perhaps displeasure, we don't know yet, I don't know your opinion, of watching Spider-Man: Far From Home this past week.
Garbage.
Let's start off with your opinion. What did you think? Spoiler free. What did you think of Far From Home?
So I thought I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Far From Home.
Okay.
Because the first half of the movie is just kind of Peter trying to be a normal high school kid. And that part, maybe like the first third to the first half.
Mm-hmm.
It would lasted around that time. It was an awkward teen comedy, and I hated it. I hated the beginning. I was very worried, like, this movie is gonna be garbage. Like, why are they making this like a 90s teen drama? I don't understand it. A lot of the jokes fell flat for me completely. It's just too much like cringe little kid.
Yeah.
Just kids trying to be high schoolers, and it was like watching High School Musical almost, but without the music. And then
all we need to do is Peter Parker to break in a song.
Now dig on this. But after like the first third, or around there, it started picking up.
Mm-hmm.
Once it picked up and it kind of left the high school drama part aside, and it was just the action-packed Spider-Man film, it was amazing. Oh my god, it was fantastic. That part I loved. The first half I hated. This is why I say love-hate relationship. But the second half was so amazing. It was so great.
Yeah.
That it almost makes up for the cringe teenage awkwardness trash from the beginning. So I can't give it like a perfect rating because of that, but the awesomeness definitely makes up for like the parts I didn't like.
Look, I agree with you. The first act, when I was watching the movie, okay, for the first act, I was like, I was a little bit concerned. The first third of the film, I was like, okay, most of this humor is not landing for me. Like a lot of basically any joke that involved the teachers, I was like, oh my god, like it was not landing. Like it was just falling flat in my opinion. So a lot of the humor didn't really land for me at the beginning, and I was very concerned. Also, there was an action scene early on where I felt like the tone of the action scene was just a little bit like bizarre. Like there was some humor in it that I felt was like it didn't really fit the moment that they were trying to like go for, and so I was pretty concerned. But with this movie, I was thinking after the fact that it had a bit of a snowball effect.
Yes,
so it starts off like very unimpressive, like oh my god, like this is gonna be a disappointment. And as the movie goes on, it just gets better and better and better and better and better and better and better, and then just fantastic awesomeness by the end. Just amazing by the end. So the first act definitely had its problems, but I feel like right around the second act, then into the third act, just fantastic. Overall, I'd say it was a pretty great movie. It does have its problems. It's not perfect, but overall fantastic, I must say.
I really enjoyed the acting in this movie. We can't get into spoilers, but from what the trailer shows, it's Spider-Man trying to take his vacation. Nick Fury recruits him for some mission, and then suddenly there's this mysterious guy, no pun intended, Mysterio, who has to like try and work together to defeat like these villains, right? These like elementals. That's what we see in the trailer. I thought everyone did a great job acting, with the exception of the teachers, which I just couldn't stand.
Yeah, agreed. I agree.
Jake Gyllenhaal was probably the best part of the movie. The way he interacted with Peter Parker, and just like anytime he's on screen, pretty much, it was great. I love his acting.
Jake Gyllenhaal is a strong actor. I really like him, and I did feel like he did fit this role really well without getting too far into.
I actually heard that he was gonna at one point play Spider-Man.
Right.
I think that Tobey Maguire like injured himself on Spider-Man 2. So Jake Gyllenhaal was gonna play Spider-Man in Spider-Man 3.
Really?
That's what I might have my facts mixed up, but yeah, it didn't end up working out. But the fact that he's in a Spider-Man movie now, and the role he played, it was pretty awesome.
It was for the best.
Tom was great. Samuel L. Jackson was great.
Yeah.
All of them, all the kids from the class, they all did pretty well. Solid acting.
Zendaya as MJ, I thought she was a lot, like I said earlier, she was a lot more likable. The actor who plays Ned, I feel like he's just consistently a good, like, comic relief character. But, you know, Marissa Tomei. I gotta say something. I feel like Tom Holland is kind of growing into the role of Peter Parker and Spider-Man with some grace. Right? Like,
I agree.
when they first announced him as Spider-Man, casting him as Spider-Man, I was a little unsure. I felt like he's a little too small. He's a little too young. I don't know. I wanted to see just a bigger, older actor, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I'm growing fond of the character. I feel like his portrayal of Peter Parker, it's just a different take, right? I am the type of guy that will say my Spider-Man, like, preference is Tobey Maguire.
Oh, yeah.
I'm a fanboy of the Raimi trilogy. Spider-Man 2 is one of the best movies of all time, in my opinion.
Hands down. Spider-Man 2.1. If you haven't seen Spider-Man 2.1, oh my god, what you're missing out on.
Spider-Man 2.1 is fantastic. So yeah, like, that's like my original preference, but I'm growing to love this incarnation of Spider-Man. It's just a different version, right? It's still Spider-Man. People are saying, "Oh, this isn't Spider-Man because, you know, Uncle Ben isn't in it. He's not. You know, they don't say with great power comes great responsibility." No, it's still Spider-Man. The same basic tenets, the core tenets that make Spider-Man Spider-Man are still there, right?
Correct.
They just don't. They're just not in the usual form that you would expect to see them.
I also thought the visuals were fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
The action scenes were amazing. There wasn't one action scene that was boring or bland. Like, it was all pretty great.
But yeah, I agree with you. The action was insane. Mind-blowing at several points. Like, I was like, oh my god, this is something like new, something we've never seen in a Spider-Man movie. And it's fantastic.
I kind of got goosebumps during some of the action scenes.
Oh yeah, it was amazing. So anyone who is a Spider-Man fan, after seeing the first trailer, right?
Spoilers
incoming.
Spoilers incoming.
Don't say you weren't warned.
This is your official spoiler warning.
So, anyone who considers himself a Spider-Man fan, after seeing the first trailer and seeing that Mysterio is in it, can kind of see where this movie is heading.
Yeah.
Right? They try to play it off for maybe people who don't know the characters as, oh, you know, this is another hero that's coming in to help Spider-Man stop these giant elemental beasts, and they're the villains, right?
Yeah.
But anyone who knows who Mysterio is knows that
it was an odd way to market it, because Mysterio's not that obscure that the majority of people going in there wouldn't know he's a villain.
I think the majority of people would not. Like I said, the majority. Because think about it. The majority...
He's a popular villain. He's a popular villain.
He's a C-list villain, though.
He's been in the cartoons in tons of episodes.
That's why I say, Spider-Man fans would know. Anyone who's seen Spider-Man-related media would know the twist coming in. But there were several people, like you said yourself, there was a few people you went to watch the movie with that didn't expect the twist, that had no idea what was happening. Yeah. And those are people that are, like, just unfamiliar with the characters. But yeah, the grand majority of Spider-Man fans are people in the know about superheroes in general, could see that twist coming. Yeah. So,
and that actually worried me just a little bit, because it was one of two options. Either he was going to bust a syndrome from The Incredibles and be an actual villain pretending to be a hero just to get, like, the fame, or he was going to be a hero. Like, Marvel made this creative choice to, instead of making Mysterio a villain, he would be like a new hero in the universe. And that's what I was a little worried about. Because the last time Marvel took creative control over a villain,
oh my god,
we got the garbage Mandarin.
No one cares about the Mandarin. Spider-Man's Rogues Gallery is by far the most famous of all superheroes in the Marvel Universe, in my opinion, at the very least. I don't think any other heroes have as iconic villains as Spider-Man does.
Batman. You've been
Marvel
lawyer. You've been
Universe. Lawyer. Even Batman doesn't have as cool villains as Spider-Man. It's true.
What?
Yep. Anyways.
Wow, you're apparently an idiot. You're apparently an idiot.
Anyways. So, Mysterio, when he's first introduced in the film, he's introduced as a hero character. Okay? Yes. So, Nick Fury and Kobe Smulders.
Robin,
right?
From Batman.
Nick Fury and Robin from How I Met Your Mother. They encounter Mysterio, right? And he's playing himself up as, oh, I'm some hero. I'm here. I'm from another dimension. I'm from another universe. I'm here to help you guys stop an invasion of incoming elemental creatures that are going to destroy your planet, right? So he's playing himself up. Spider-Man, fresh off the loss of Tony Stark, he doesn't want to live that superhero. He doesn't want to take on that responsibility of being a superhero.
He
in
wants
the same
to be
manner.
your friendly neighborhood.
Exactly.
He
He wants to keep it low key.
He wants to defend Queens or New York.
Exactly. So he just wants to be a normal teen. He wants to, he wants to go out with MJ. He wants to ask her out. He wants to do teen stuff, which is what the character is all about, right?
Yeah.
And so Mysterio comes along, and Nick Fury kind of drags him into this whole issue they're having, right? And Mysterio bonds with Spider-Man or with Peter in that almost like a big brother, like almost like another father figure. Yes. So there are a few scenes where he jokes around with Peter, right? And like he basically bonds with Peter. Okay. And there are several scenes where Peter and Quentin, right, are talking, and Peter's kind of like opening up his heart to him and saying what he really wants, and I really loved those scenes. I want to say like that's towards the end of like the first act, like after or right before they're gonna face off this fire elemental or whatever, right? They're just sitting there, and he's basically just telling him about MJ, telling him how he just wants to ask her out and wants him to. Well, he just wants to be a normal kid. And Quentin is basically telling him, like, if that's what you want, you can do that. You got to make the choice of what life you want to live, whatever. He's bonding with him on an emotional level that he needs after the loss of Tony.
That's one of the things that I love about Mysterio, just the way they play him off of Peter's character and like the bond. And it's kind of building you up to tear you down.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what happens in the movie. Because the scene where it's finally revealed that he is actually the villain.
What his ulterior motive was.
Exactly. When they're in the bar. And then like Peter leaves the bar and then the holograms start disappearing. And I'm like, it was great. It was a great reveal. In fact, the way they made his character, the fact that it was so true to the comics and to the cartoons, I absolutely loved it.
The look, everything.
I loved it. The look, the fact that he's like a master of illusions and he's like an escape artist and he's like an actor in the comics and stuff.
Yeah. Which I was a little concerned would be hard to translate into film, right?
Yeah, to be like a master of illusions and tricks and stuff like that.
How do you like make a realistic take on such a like cartoonish comic booky character?
And I thought they did it fantastically.
I agree.
Big time. It was awesome.
So anyways, we discover right there that Mysterio was just after those glasses all along, and we find out that Mysterio and his entire crew have set up these high-tech drones that basically create illusions of any kind. And we find out his backstory, that he's a disgruntled ex-employee.
They're all somehow connected, disgruntled ex-employees.
A very original backstory for all these villains. Had never been done before in any Marvel film.
Never did. Never.
But you know what? That reveal was pretty... I loved it. I was like, dude, this is like so not what I was expecting, Like he starts going off on a rant, Wolf of Wall Street style, saying, and I did this, and we were screwed over.
Heavy.
But you know what?
The way he did it was great.
Yeah, I didn't mind it. Look, there's always going to be exposition in a movie in one way, shape, or form. I felt that the way it was handled wasn't too bad.
Yeah, I agree.
And then, MJ and Peter find out that there's actually more to the mystery, right? There's more than what meets the eye. And they find like a broken drone piece or something, and it like pops up a hologram. They're like, what the hell is going on here? So he goes to try to find Mysterio, and thus ensues one of the greatest action scenes ever put to film. Fantastic.
I was legit, like, just my hype kept getting higher and higher, and I was like, this is one of the best scenes in the world. Can you guess what it reminded me of?
Let me guess. You're going to say Scarecrow from Batman.
Scarecrow from Batman Arkham Asylum. Oh my god. I was watching the
But much better done. They brought out a zombie Iron Man corpse at some point, and I was like, bruh.
Too soon.
Did you have to go that far? Like, you didn't have to go that hard, Mysterio. That just hurt. And then you find out, like, it's just like Peter doesn't even know it's real anymore. And at a certain point, Mysterio makes it seem like they're back in the real world, and then it makes him seem like he gets shot.
That part pissed me off a little bit, because Marvel has a tendency that right as the battle's getting great, like the villain gets capped.
Yeah.
In like the lamest, most disrespectful way. And it's like, oh my god, Marvel, why are you doing this? And this scene was just getting great, and it's gonna end by Nick Fury shooting Mysterio in the back. That's how you're ending this fantastic action
And then
scene?
no, they trolled you hardcore because
Dude,
that's not how they ended
Mysterio
it.
personally trolled me.
You
in
got
that part.
Mysterio'd.
I got Mysterio. So then, fast forward to the conclusion of the film, and Mysterio has unlocked the full potential of Tony's glasses. Edith. And that action scene with the giant, like, wind elemental.
Yeah. It was awesome.
That whole scene was awesome. And even seeing him in, like, his motion capture suit with, like, the big glass helmet and the little microphone and everything.
Right.
Like, I thought it was gonna be, like, lame. Like, this is who he's fighting. Like, mocap man.
Yeah.
But they made it work, dude. They made it work.
Honestly,
the action scene was awesome. And then the second illusion scene,
fantastic. That final action scene, it was just amazing. I love that they keep finding new environments to put Spider-Man like swinging around, like new visually inventive ways of giving him things to fight against, right? So in this case, it was like a million drones, which I thought was, honestly, I thought it was awesome. Like when he goes into the illusion or whatever, right?
Yes.
And he's in there and he's like, whoa, and it's just a million drones projecting all this stuff, and just him like destroying all of them. Just like, it was awesome. It was awesome, doing some amazing acrobatics and just being epic as hell.
Yep.
And just at the end too, like the way he finally stops Mysterio, right? Like there's one final showdown where he's like in a long bridge, like tunnel or whatever, like a glass bridge. And Mysterio's on the other end, and he's like, you know what? He's like, catch me if you can. No, he doesn't say that. But he has one last illusion for him, right?
Yeah.
And he kind of like puts Peter in that illusion, and all the lights just shut off, and he's just in pitch blackness. And throughout the movie, it's been mentioned that Spider-Man has kind of been struggling with his spider sense.
Peter Tingle.
Is Peter Tingle?
Get it right, dude.
My
It's lore now.
apologies. My apologies. That's true.
It's
actually,
canon now.
It's Peter Tingle from this point on. So throughout the movie, like it's been pretty inconsistent. So at this point, though, it's like he's like, all right, let's go, Peter Tingle. And that scene was just so awesome, dude. Like him just instinctively dodge, even though he couldn't see anything. He's just dodging every single drone coming at him. And then it shows you the other side, right? It shows like what Mysterio's doing. And you just see Spider-Man dodging everything. I would have been crapping my pants as Mysterio. I'm like, oh my god, I'm so dead. And just the way he ends up like taking him down, right? He's like on the roof. He punches him in the face and he's like, it's just epic. It's just epic. I loved it.
It's like he finally mastered the spider sense, which is how we think Mysterio, got himself shot. And he's sitting there dying. And then Peter's like, oh. And then the gunshot.
Yeah.
And it's like, the realization of what happened, I was like, whoa.
Right. It's like one final moment. He's still trying to trick you.
That was great.
So yeah, fantastic.
So another thing, the thing at the end, where Peter's back in New York and Spider-Man swinging and stuff, and
awesome,
he picks up MJ. It made me realize, that scene made me realize how much I miss seeing Spider-Man just swinging around Manhattan in New York.
I agree 100%.
Big time. Like Homecoming, no buildings. It was more like a suburban area, and like it was outside the city.
He didn't have anything to swing on.
Yeah.
And Spider-Man Homecoming.
And then this one, he's in like Europe, and it's like, this is America, guys. Come on, 4th of July weekend too. They're the worst.
But that's why I love the drones, because he's like Spider-Man swinging off a million different drones. Like he still had plenty to swing on. You know what I mean? But I agree with you 100%. That final scene, every Spider-Man movie needs to have a scene at the very end where Spider-Man is doing epic acrobatics, swinging around New York City, so that you can be like, damn.
With an American flag in the background.
Exactly. So that you could be like, damn, that just looks like so much fun, and I wish I could do that.
It warmed my heart to see my boy, J.K. Simmons, reprising his role as the Triple J himself, dude.
The icon.
J. Jonah Jameson.
I legit screamed in the movie theater. Legit. First I was like, Daily Bugle. I turned to my brother. I was like, oh, Daily Bugle. They're bringing the Daily Bugle. And then I turned back. Freaking J. Jonah Jameson, the man himself, minus a few follicles.
A little bald.
But I legit shrieked.
All right, guys. So let's get into our viewer mini reviews.
Let's do it.
We got a regular here. One of our regular viewers.
Who might that be?
Vic Alv. Vic Alv says, this movie was great. The relationship between Peter and MJ was actually interesting, and I'm glad they didn't change Mysterio. Peter's new suit was amazing, and seeing J.K. Simmons back as J. Jonah Jameson was such a delight. This made me want more Spider-Man movies, and I can't wait to see where it goes from here. 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
Dude,
You know,
he gives it 9 out of 10. That's a high score.
it is a high score. I agree with everything he said, by the way. That's a fantastic take on it, Vic, because I agree wholeheartedly.
I do.
As far as 9 out of 10, it's very, very close. I loved it. The first act did have its problems, but everything that happened after that, it just snowballed into greatness.
I agree.
Comic book greatness. So it might be right up there with Spider-Man 2. Maybe just under it. Maybe.
Yeah.
But it's like 1 and 2. You know, like they're both amazing. I loved it. I loved mostly everything about it.
Me too. So, our final thoughts. As for me, loved this movie. I thought it was great. The terribleness of the teen drama / teen drama comedy didn't really... It was pretty bad, but it didn't affect it as much because everything else was fantastic. I thought it was a great concluding epilogue to the Infinity Saga, and I am really dying to see it again. Like, I want to go see it again. Like, today, I want to go see it again.
Same. I agree. My thoughts, like I said, first act, several issues, pacing-wise, comedy-wise, wasn't really landing for me, but it only got better as it went on. The action, the villain, right? Perfectly cast, I believe. It was very cool seeing a brand new villain that we've been wanting to see for a while in the MCU, or just in a Spider-Man movie in general. I think they handled it amazingly. The action, fantastic through the roof. I loved it. I genuinely loved it. And I am also dying to see it again. I love how they ended it. And I am super excited to see where they go next from here.
Yep. So as you can tell, we hated it. Let us know in the comments
Terrible movie.
what you thought of the movie. Did you like it? Did you hate it? What did you think of Mysterio? The return of J. Jonah Jameson? Everything. Let us know in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please smash that like button. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. Follow us on all the social medias, and we will see you guys in the next video.